On July 18, 1969, Ted Kennedy's black Oldsmobile crashed off a small bridge on the tiny Massachusetts island of Chappaquiddick and landed in the water. The next morning, the body of a young woman was found inside the car, and Senator Kennedy, who had fled the scene, did not report the incident until 10 hours later. Mary Jo Kopechne was an American secretary and one of the campaign workers for U.S. Senator Robert F. Kennedy's 1968 presidential campaign. She was born in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, and she was the only child of Joseph Kopechne, an insurance salesman, and Gwen, a homemaker. When Mary Jo was an infant, her family moved to Berkeley Heights, New Jersey. She was raised Catholic and attended parochial schools. As a devout Roman Catholic, she had a serious convent school demeanor and rarely drank much. She graduated with a degree in business administration from Cadwell College for Women in 1962. By 1963, Kopechne relocated to Washington, D.C. to work as a secretary for United States Senator George Smathers. She joined the secretarial staff of Senator Robert F. Kennedy following his election in November 1964. She was a loyal worker, and people describe her as someone who is humble, kind, and stood firm in her beliefs. Tough but fun in the classroom, creating speed challenges, expecting accuracy, and rewarding generously. During the 1968 U.S. presidential election, Mary Jo helped with the wording of Robert Kennedy March's speech that announced his presidential candidacy. Mary Jo was devastated emotionally by the assassination of Robert F. Kennedy in June 1968. After working briefly for the Kennedy proxy campaign for George Kennedy McGovern, she said that she could not return to work on Capitol Hill, saying, "I just feel Bobby's presence everywhere. I can't go back because it will never be the same." But as her father later said, politics was her life. In September 1968, she was hired by Matt Reese Associates, a Washington, D.C. firm that helped establish campaign headquarters and field offices for politicians and was one of the first political consulting companies. On July 18, 1969, Mary Jo, who was 28 years old at the time, attended a party on Chappaquiddick Island. The party was a celebration in honor of the dedicated work of the Boiler Room Girls. The name Boiler Room Girls was given to a group of young unmarried female campaign strategists, including Mary Jo, who had worked on Robert Kennedy's presidential campaign before he was assassinated. Reportedly, only 12 people were at this gathering: Senator Ted Kennedy, which is Robert Kennedy's brother, and some of the campaign workers, 5 married men, and 6 boiler room girls. Attendants of the party drank that night and reminisced about Robert's life and presidential campaign. Sometime later that evening, Ted Kennedy decided to leave, and he offered Mary Jo a ride so that she could catch the last ferry back to Edgartown. Mary Jo reportedly left the party with Kennedy at 11:15 p.m. She did not tell her close friends at the party that she was leaving, and she left her purse and keys behind. On their way to the ferry port, Ted Kennedy reportedly made a wrong turn onto a dirt road leading to a one-lane bridge. The bridge was narrow, unlit, lacked guardrails, and was not on the route to Edgartown. Kennedy's car skidded off this bridge into Polka Pond and landed upside down in the water below. He managed to get out of the car and swim out free, and then left the scene without calling authorities. In fact, he did not call the police to report this accident until 10 hours later, by which point the police had already found the car and Mary Jo's body, who unfortunately did not survive the accident. The medical examiner signed her death certificate listing the cause of death as accidental drowning. Despite his determination that Mary Jo had drowned, many remained skeptical, and some, including the diver who pulled her from the car, argued that Mary Jo suffocated after oxygen ran out of the air pocket she was breathing from in the car. He claimed that Mary Jo could have been alive for some time after the accident, and alleges that she could have been saved if Ted had summoned the police earlier. Mary Jo's death could have happened any time between 11:30 p.m. Friday and 1 a.m. Saturday, as an off-duty deputy sheriff stated that he saw a car matching Kennedy's license plate at 12:40 a.m. The fire rescue captain who retrieved the body on July 19th also testified that he believed Mary Jo stayed alive for up to half an hour in an air pocket and ultimately suffocated in the submerged vehicle. A petition to exhume the body for autopsy was denied by a Pennsylvania court, which sided with the parents' request not to disturb her burial site. Ted Kennedy has maintained that he tried to rescue Mary Jo but was unable to do so. He dove down multiple times trying to rescue Mary Jo before giving up and driving back to the party. He told a cousin and a friend what happened and then returned to the bridge with them. They also tried to rescue Mary Jo but were not successful. But why didn't they call the police and ambulance for help? Explaining his actions at the time, Ted claimed that he didn't call the cops because he was confused and still in shock. "I was overcome, I'm frank to say, by a jumble of emotions. Grief, fear, doubt, exhaustion, panic, confusion, and shock," he said. Mary Jo's parents said that they learned of their daughter's death from Kennedy before he informed authorities of this accident and that he did not tell them that he was responsible for it. They learned that he had been the driver from wire press releases sometime later. At a July 25, 1969 court hearing, Kennedy pled guilty only to a charge of leaving the scene of an accident and received a 2-month suspended jail sentence. He was never charged with anything else. In a televised statement that same evening, he said his conduct immediately after the accident made no sense to me at all, and that he regarded his failure to report this accident immediately as indefensible. Kennedy also said that he had not been driving under the influence of liquor, nor had he ever had a private relationship with Mary Jo. A January 5, 1970 judicial inquest concluded that Kennedy and Kopechne did not intend to take the ferry, and that Kennedy intentionally turned towards the bridge, operating his vehicle negligently, if not recklessly, at too high a speed for the hazard which the bridge posed in the dark. This resulted in Kennedy's driver's license being suspended for only 16 months after the accident. The Chappaquiddick incident became national news and became the topic of many nonfiction books. Even otherwise sympathetic mainstream biographers believe there were outstanding, serious questions about Kennedy's timeline of events that night, specifically his actions following the incident. The quality of the investigation has been scrutinized, and the incident damaged Kennedy's political career, influencing his decision not to run for president in 1972 and in 1976. It was said to have undermined his chances of ever becoming president. He ultimately decided to enter the 1980 Democratic Party presidential primaries, but earned only 37% of the vote and lost the nomination to President Jimmy Carter. Nonetheless, he had a very long career as a senator, whereas Mary Jo Kopechne, who was a talented woman with a promising career in politics, would not be able to reach her full potential or even have a campaign of her own. We will never know what she would have been able to do for American politics and see any of her accomplishments because her life was taken too soon. Mary Jo's parents received a $149,000 settlement from Kennedy's insurance company. On the 25th anniversary of her death in 1994, they said that Kennedy had never apologized directly to them over his role in this accident, but other members of the Kennedy family had written letters to them. With their only child gone, they never felt that justice had really been done in this case.